Hey guys, Sky here. Happy Halloween Eve. I've got Steve here with me today for this video, but there's going to be a lot of B-roll, so you'll see plenty of other animals. This is an episode of Rambling with Reptiles, episode 6. We're going to be talking about rescues, rescuing animals, and some of the controversial opinions on that. I hope you stay tuned. Let's get started with it. Talking about when we're talking about a rescue. In this video, of course, I'm specifically referring to reptiles, but a lot of this information could be used for any kind of animal that you want to rescue, whether it be hamsters or fish or, even cats and dogs to some degree, although you don't see them in pet stores as often, thank goodness. So I'm referring to an animal that is either being kept improperly, being abused, being neglected, that is sickly, underweight, just an animal that is unwell, that needs to be removed from the environment it's in, brought into a new environment in better care conditions. Rescues can come from places like pet stores, whether it's a big chain pet store or a private pet store. They can come from private owners who are either deciding they no longer want their snake or lizard or whatever it is, or are they trying to sell it. That kind of goes along with online ads. You'll see those a lot in different Facebook groups. Sometimes they can even be found right outside. This might sound crazy for reptiles, especially for me because I live in Michigan, but I've seen it all too many times where tortoises or bearded dragons, and I think even recently there was Uromastyx found just wandering around outside. One of the best places, in my opinion, to get a rescue, especially if you're not super experienced, is to adopt from your local reptile rescue. They're going to have animals that have already been rehabilitated that are ready to go on to new homes and get their second chance. And in some case, third and fourth chance, because reptiles live a very long time, most of them. I won't say most, I'll say a lot of them. Adopting from a local rescue is the only time out of these scenarios that you should be exchanging money for the animal in question. The adoption fee is typically fair given the feeding, the time and energy put into the animal, and the veterinary care that that animal has probably received. Make sure that if you can, even donate to your local rescues. It's very helpful. It's very much appreciated. Next, let's move on to what isn't a rescue. If you purchase it from a pet store, if you go to a pet store and you hand them money and they give you the animal, no matter what condition that animal is in, that is a purchase. Are you saving that animal? Possibly. Are you continuing the cycle? Yes. Again, purchasing it off the internet, if it's a purchase, it's a purchase, call it what it is. If it comes from a breeder, again, if they surrender it to you, and, that's one thing. But if you're purchasing it from them, you are continuing that cycle. Another different type of scenario is if you're bringing home an animal that you don't know anything about how to take care of it. Then you're just moving an animal from one bad situation to another. So here's where we get into some of my opinions. You are not a bad person if you try to save one, even if it is the detriment to the whole. It can be heartbreaking to go somewhere and see an animal that is sickly or being abused, neglected. You go places, you see the water bowl is dry and the cage is dirty and there's nowhere for them to hide or anything like that. And you want to save them. And sometimes we have to do things that aren't always the best. The world isn't black and white. It's not good or evil. There are shades of gray. There are shades of color. Decide for yourself where your boundaries are, but just know and go into it knowing that if you purchase an animal from a bad situation, a new animal is most likely going to take its place. That's all I'll say on that. If you have done any of the things that I've mentioned or mentioned in this video in the past, don't feel like you're a bad person. Don't think I'm saying you're a bad person. All I'm saying is we need to think about these things, and you are thinking about them now by watching this video, by listening to me ramble on about this stuff. You are growing in knowledge. Mistakes are part of being human. Next up, we're going to skip to a totally different topic from that. Things that you will need if you decide that you do want to take in a rescue.
Wow.
Number one, a trusted veterinarian. It is very difficult at times to find a good veterinarian to see reptiles or other small animals. Cat and dog vets don't always know how to treat reptiles, which is fine. You know, it's a lot to have to learn the anatomy of 2 animals, yet alone every animal kept in pet trade. So make sure that you're doing your research on what vet you're taking these animals to. Also, number one, we'll call it 1.A. That doesn't make any sense, but we're going to go with it. Finances. Make sure that not only do you have a veterinarian, but you can pay that veterinarian. Vet bills are not cheap, and just because you're rescuing an animal doesn't mean that the vet doesn't still have to charge you. You will also need very good quarantine if you have any other animals in your home, because you already know that this animal is coming from a bad situation. You do not want to expose your current animals to anything that this might be carrying, whether it be mites or respiratory infection, or hopefully not something like nidovirus or crypto, or those very serious things can be spread very easily. Quarantine. Minimum of 30 days, 90 days, minimum of 30 days symptom free. I'll put it that way. But 60 to 90 days is also recommended. A basic understanding of the species, their behaviors, husbandry, and etc. So you want to be able to know if your animal is acting weird. They all have their own personality, of course, but there are general characteristics of different species. For example, if you've got a crested gecko that is typically a boreal gecko that likes to be up in the top of its enclosure, and it's spending all its time on the ground, or a chameleon is a better example. If your chameleon is spending all its time at the bottom of the enclosure, something is probably wrong. If you don't know what the husbandry is supposed to be like, for all you know, it could be that it's too hot at the top, or they could be too cold even. Make sure you know how to take care of the animal you're trying to rescue. In summary, at the end of the day, every animal deserves a chance. Unfortunately, so many of them end up in poor environments due to a lack of research or misinformation, outdated information, and more. Be mindful that rescuing comes with more than its fair share of hardship and emotional turmoil. It's okay not to rescue, but keeping the option open is a wonderful thing, and it can be very rewarding to watch the animals bounce back. Please consider adopting from your local reptile rescue. Here in Michigan, in West Michigan, we've got Veterans Aquatics and Exotics, and we've got N&N Rescue. Veterans is in Grand Haven, and N&N is in Grand Rapids. They do fantastic work, and they've always got adorable babies up for adoption. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Sky's the Limit Exotics. I've rambled a lot. Let me know in the comments if you've ever if you've ever rescued a reptile. Say that 10 times fast. It's not that hard. And how that went for you. I want to hear your story.